Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irena Azkia. I'm from Singaperbangsa University, majoring English Education Department. In this video, I would like to present my undergraduate thesis entitled The EFL Students' Tendency in Text Selections in Reading Class Based on Extensive Reading Perspective. Reading is one of crucial skills to be developed in learning foreign language. To be successful learning foreign language, students should have a communicative skill. Through required reading skills, students can elaborate, define, and grasp the language in written in their communications. In addition, to improve their reading skills, an effort is necessarily conducted. One of example ways to support it is using extensive reading. Many researchers have been extensive reading, but there's only provide teaching solutions only using extensive reading. Therefore, it need necessary conducted about study of students' tendency in text sections in reading class based on extensive reading perspective. Regarding to this phenomena, this research questions is what kind of text do students prefer selecting in reading class based on extensive reading perspective, and the research purpose is to explore kind of text that students prefer selecting in reading class based on extensive reading perspective. The researcher required for previous research related to this research about the implementations of extensive reading for language learning that come from Register 2017, Simcom 2021, Entries 2018, and also the Article 2021. And it proved that extensive reading improve students' reading skills and also students' attitude. And chapter 2 about literature review, the researcher required for theory, extensive reading, the principle of extensive reading, the implementation of extensive reading in Indonesia, and also the text selections in extensive reading. Extensive reading is reading a lot of text that is within the students' language competence, KIOMI 2018. Extensive reading can improve students' macro language skills, including reading, speaking, writing, and also listening, and also micro language skills, including vocabulary and grammar. It also improves students' attitude. And the principles of extensive reading are consisted of 10. They are reading material is easy, learners choose what they want to read, variety of reading material on wide range of topic, reading is individual, and reading learner read as much as possible, reading is faster, reading purpose is related to pleasure, get information, and also general understanding. Reading is individual and silent, reading is its own reward, teacher guides students, and also teacher is a reader role model. And the text selections in extensive reading. In extensive reading, the material should be easy and successful to interest students to read. If they feel an interest in reading, they are free to stop the reading because the reading purpose in extensive reading should pleasure for them. Benford and Day 2004. The implementation of extensive reading in Indonesia are required by the Fatimah 2019, the Infante and Soviet 2018, and also Permatasari 2020. They use a platform, namely blog, and also Wattpad in employing the extensive reading, and also use method, namely self-selected reading material and whole reading class. In the chapter 3 about methodology, the researcher used a qualitative approach and case study design. The participants are the senior high school students in the 11th grade, and the semi-structured interview is used as the collecting data. And the data analysis use thematic analysis by Brown and Clark 2006. Next is chapter 4 about finding and discussions. In this chapter, the researcher attempts to elaborate the students' response toward 10 principles of extensive reading as extensive reading perspective to explore kind of text that students prefer selecting in reading class. For the first students' tendency in text selections in reading class based on extensive reading perspective is for principle number 1 about easy reading material. In extensive reading, the material should be easy for students to read because they can read a lot of text if the reading material is easy for them. And the participants also express they feel enjoy while reading easy text. With 28 findings, it is the most finding from the interview data, and the easy reading material is the most kind of text that students prefer selecting in reading class. And the second students' tendency in text selections in reading class based on extensive reading is for principle number 3 about learners choose what they want to read. In extensive reading, the reading material is chosen by students, not by teacher, because in extensive reading provide the opportunity for students to select the material suitable to their interests and also language level. And the participant also expressed that extensive reading becomes their first experience because they become more interested and motivated in learning language and reading English because they can choose text what they want to read. And the third students' tendency in text selections in reading class based on excessive reading is for principle number 2 about a variety of reading material on wide range of topic available. In excessive reading, the teacher provide many texts for students to choose in reading class. With providing the numerous of texts for students, the students can be able to can find text easily to read in excessive reading class. It also saves their time because the students do not need to explore more about the text. And the fourth students' tendency in text selections in reading class based on excessive reading perspective is for principle number 6 about reading purpose. In excessive reading, the reading purpose is related to reading pleasure, reading informations, and general understanding. The most participants' goals in reading is they want to get information or insight from what they want read, what they read. It can be from the language item, including new vocabulary or the message from the story. And the students also aims to get pleasure from the text because the text they choose is interest for them. And students also read for obtain the general idea from the text. And the fifth students' tendency in text selections based on extensive reading perspective is for principle number 4 about learner read as much as possible. Since the reading material is easy and interest for them, they should be able to read a lot of text than usual. And the participant express they have read a lot text because they can choose what they want to read and the reading material is interesting for them. And the sixth students' tendency in text selection based on extensive reading perspective is for principles number 5 about reading is usually faster than slower. It seems quite similar with the previous findings because the reading material is easy. Therefore, the students should be able to read faster as possible because reading material is easy for them and also interesting for them. And participants also express the extensive reading quite increase their reading speed, because they should be able to read many texts with the reading speed with the faster reading speed. And the 7 students' tendency in text selections in based on extensive reading perspective is for principle number 7, 8, and 10 about reading is silent, reading is its own reward, and reading and teacher as a role model of reader. In extensive reading, the students should read silently, and it's good for them because they feel more concentrated with comprehending the text. And reading in its own reward means that the reading experience, the students' reading experience is different. So the task or the post activity after reading should be related to their reading experience. And the researcher attempt to choose reading log to keep track what they read in extensive reading program. And the teacher is role model of reader means that the teacher should be able to reflect that reading is pleasure, and the researcher attempts to use rule you read I read. It means that the teacher also read when the students read when extensive reading program is conducted. And the results show that the students become happy and motivated to read more text in extensive reading. And the 9 students tendency gives similar findings. It is for findings in the interview data. The 10 students tendency in text selections in reading class based on extensive reading perspective is for principle number 9 about teacher guide students in extensive reading, with only one finding appearing in interview data. It is the last student's tendency while carry on the extensive reading. It seems that the students feel less engagement while the teacher guide them in extensive reading program. Extensive reading, teacher should be able to keep track and know about the response of students while reading. The next is chapter 5 about conclusion. From the explanations above, I can conclude that the easy reading material become the most kind of text that students prefer selecting in reading class based on extensive reading perspective. It encourages students' interest in learning English, and it is in accordance with the psychology learning foundations that the learning interest is one of factors that can be support students' motivations in learning. However, the teacher guide as the principle number 9 of extensive reading become the last student tendency, and it needs further research about teacher guide in extensive reading. That's all from my presentations about my undergraduate thesis. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.